What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to Fantasy Points Best Ball Breakdown. We're here ripping a Best Ball Mania draft tonight. I'm joined tonight by Mark Garcia at High-Low and Mr. Projections himself, Christ Wecht, coming out of his projections hole this summer, projecting the entire UFL. And now we put him on the entire NFL. And we're going to be drafting the team tonight. Chris, as always, the guest takes the reins on the show. So we'll be in your hands tonight. What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I've been deep in the sheets, staring at numbers all day, every day, moving guys' target share up 1%, down 0.5%. You know, just losing sleep over these minor tweaks.
That game's about to get real hairy here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The real bullets are going to start flying here in training camp in a couple of weeks. Training camps start next Friday. Super exciting. How much sleep have you lost over tinkering over route shares for receivers and tight ends and all that stuff?
Well, it's funny because you one day you're like, all right, let me redo the Packers, and Jaden Reed will come down a little and Wicks will go up a little, and then the next day I'm like, no, it's gotta go back, and then it all basically comes out even again.
Yeah, that is it's the way of the tinkering, but yeah, Chris has been doing a great job with projections this offseason. Super excited for that. Super excited for this draft. We just filled here, and I think we're going to be picking at the back again. Yep, 11th. This is a fourth straight show, I think.
Yeah.
Picking at the back.
We hit those ones for a while, and then
dude, we used up bro, we used up all our ones in the May period.
Yeah.
It's good though. It'll give us plenty of time to chat. Going through the 11th spot, Chris, what's your first thought, like picking from the back half of the first round this year?
It's definitely gross. I mean, I'd say after AJ Brown is this is the teardrop for me of where I want to be picking in the first round. And you can basically do whatever you want after that. Like, I don't think doing any combination of Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison, Drake London, Olave, Adam, I would probably just want a bunch of different combos of that tier of guys around here.
And you have Puka ahead of AJ Brown, right? So it'd be Puka, AJ Brown would be the end of that tier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I think it makes sense. And that's what Mark's been saying. That's what we've been saying all off season. It's just like, don't be afraid to get weird here once you feel like the tier drops off. And I think everybody kind of agrees it's AJ Brown and Puka. We'll see if we can get a little weird tonight in this room. We're ripping BBM. Again, if you haven't deposited on Underdog yet this season, you want to get into some drafts, use code FANTASYPTS. Get yourself a $5 standard subscription and a deposit match up to $250 on Underdog. All right, so we're ripping through first 5 picks. I gotta say, it was really nice having the 15 and 10-15 second clock going back to the 30-second clock. I feel like I'm in the Stone Ages right now. It was really nice. I hope next year they give us some more options and we have a 15-second clock for BBM. That would be ideal.
Did you guys try one of the 10 seconds on a stream?
Yeah, I maxed the 10 and then I got worn out and I couldn't max the 15 and the 20.
Yeah, we didn't do it on a stream. We should have.
Feels slower.
The contest filled so fast, but I like it. I mean, honestly, I'm, just kind of makes you plan out your picks a little more. But I mean, we're already doing that as it is. And who doesn't want to rip a draft in 20 seconds? Or 20 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
All right, Chris. Tier died. Puka's gone. AJ Brown's gone. What do you want to
do? Let's do Drake London. I think I'm kind of getting excited about the Falcons just running more plays in general.
All right, nice. I like it to get a little different here too. We'll talk through London here in a second once we get through this turn. All the vibes just seemed really good. Kirky seems fully healthy, coming into the off season. A lot of puff pieces about how he's been super prepared for the season. And obviously any increase in play rate is huge. Let's see if we get back here.
So now I usually like taking one of the running backs here. I don't like doing it first in case you get boxed out at receiver.
Yeah.
but like now I'd be fine with either Gibbs or Taylor.
All right, we'll make the call, man. Gibbs or Taylor? What do you want to do here? Want to go?
Let's do Gibbs then.
All right, we'll go Gibbs. Nice. I don't have much Gibbs. I've been going Taylor over Gibbs, but talk to me about Drake London. Talk to me what's got you excited about Falcons and their pace and play rate and stuff.
Well, it's no secret that Arthur Smith is gone. They were like they're pretty clearly going to run. Probably I have them at like 64 plays per game, and their pass rate going up like anywhere from 5 to somewhere between 5 and probably like 8%. I'm at 60 right now. They were down at 55 last year. They were down at 48.5 in 2022. Like the volume is just going to be massive, and that doesn't even factor in like catchable targets.
Right.
Like Ritter and Mariota were just so inaccurate. Not even giving guys like London and Pitts a chance, and now you get Kirk Cousins, who is one of the more better, or like in terms of catchable ball rate, one of the better QBs. Like they're just gonna have so many more opportunities.
Yeah. The pace. I think even if Cousins is like 80% of what he used to be, like the pace and play rate is just going to be so much higher for Falcons. And we give London 25-26% target share. That's going to look pretty good. Mark, where are you at on Falcons? I know where you're at on Rams. We've talked through Jets a ton. I don't think I've asked you too much about Falcons. What are you doing with London in the back half? Do you think the price is right? You've been drafting him a ton?
I have not been drafting him a ton, but when I get these back half picks, like the 10, 11, and 12, after AJ Brown, which AJ Brown is actually my tier break. I don't have Puka in tier 1. Just because obviously it's hard to have him in tier 1 when I have where I do. But so for me, when I get to this back half, I'm kind of mixing and matching like all these tier 2 wide receivers. And I typically am going very wide receiver heavy here. Just because of the opportunity cost discussion. Like a Jahmyr Gibbs, what does he have to do to make it so like you had to have him in this back half or the early half of the second round? Like he's got to finish like RB1. Whereas some of these wide receivers, because now we're in like wide receiver 10 through 18, one big tier 2, any one of those guys finishing top 5 at their position is a little bit more valuable based on the overall meta of how the drafts are shaking out right now. So I'm kind of just like Drake London's a piece of that. So I'm not like overweight. I'm not underweight. So like everything from like Puka Nacua for me all the way through like Cooper Kupp is like one massive big tier right now. So mixing a lot of those guys here.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. I'm more with you. I don't really have a ton of Gibbs. I have a little more Taylor just because he's was going later in ADP. I'm typically taking 2 receivers in the back half here too, and I'm with you. I'm completely fine getting absolutely bizarre. You can really do it over on DraftKings as well. Get a little weird in the back half, but we're about to come back up. A little Mike Evans coming a little later than ADP at 29. Tank Dell just skyrocketing. Him and Diggs have like basically crossed ADPs now.
Another one that Malik Neighbors and Cooper Kupp have kind of flipped here over the last week and a half or so.
Yes, they have. Yeah, Neighbors is coming up a little bit here. All right, we'll Diggs is still there right now. Yeah, Diggs and Dell have basically converged to the point where Dell is, almost a coin flip to go ahead of Diggs at this point. Yeah, Neighbors has crept up as well. What do you think that is, Mark? Just people buying into the rookie hype?
Well, I don't actually. Neighbors has come down a bit. Cooper Kupp has started to trickle up, and Neighbors has come down a little bit, which is interesting to me. I'm starting to get a lot more Neighbors after I didn't early, where I was just like hammering Cooper Kupp. Easy.
Okay. I thought you were saying that the other way. All right, real quick, Chris, we got 15 here. I got Pacheco and ETN at the top. I know you love them. Any of these receivers here, Pickens?
Christian Kirk would probably be my highest rated, or Cooper, either one.
All right, we'll go Kirk. Saved it there at the last second. We'll come back, figure this out.
Yeah, I was hoping one of like DJ Moore, Diggs, or Devontae Smith, like one of those guys would make it back to us, and then you could take Pacheco, but I don't want us to get too buried at receiver here.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this spot at 11 is like, if you do take running back like we did, you kind of, unless one of those guys like DJ Moore or Diggs falls, like you kind of can't get caught out here. And Dell's starting to scream up. Same with Zay Flowers. All right, so he went ETN Laporta. What do you think here? Pacheco. Go another receiver.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think we'd have a hard time if we went Pacheco? Because he would definitely be my highest rated guy.
Yeah, I'm okay personally.
Want to go Pacheco? All right. We'll come back and probably do 2 more receivers at the turn.
Yeah, it's like this is a weird area in the draft, like the back half of round 3, the beginning half of round 4, where it's like, how much better are the receivers in this range than the receivers at the 5-6 turn? It's like, I mean, from a weekly range of outcomes perspective, it's pretty close. So, like, I don't mind getting, quote unquote, like caught in this running back pocket right here.
Well, I mean, if it comes down to drafting more Isaiah Pacheco, I'm completely fine with it. Hoosier, you say Wonder if Hard Knocks has something to do with Neighbors ADP? Probably. That's probably a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Dude's a baller. A little bit of rookie hype coming up. Cup has come up in ADP a little bit too, though, Mark. I've noticed that. He's up a few points since open. But yeah, I wanted to talk through Texans. We didn't get Diggs. Chris, one of the biggest things we've been trying to figure out with projections is just like what to do, how we're projecting out Nico. And I kind of like your opinion. We're a little lower on Nico. I want you to like outline, why that is and how hard it is to kind of project this group, with Diggs and Dell in the mix. I mean, because when Tank Dell was healthy last year, him and Nico were basically earning the same amount of targets.
Yeah, I hate this question. I feel like this is the question I get asked every time someone asks me to talk about the projections.
Oh, you do projections?
Yeah. I have them all pretty close. I currently have Diggs leading in target share, but it's like by 0.5% over Nico. I'm starting to think maybe Nico should be a little ahead of Diggs there, but again, it's not going to be by much. I think Dell is definitely the third guy, but he's also probably the most efficient one. Let me see what I got. Their yards per outrun looking like. Yeah. I've got Nico at like a 2.3 yards per outrun, Tank Dell at 2.1, Diggs at 1.9. I think Diggs is going to benefit a lot from not having to be that main guy in the offense a lot. We have been doing some stuff that'll be on the data suite pretty soon with separation charting, and Diggs still grades out really good in that. Nico looks awesome in it. Tank Dell does too, for that matter. Like they all look good in it. So I don't think anybody should be projecting any of these guys to be like the clear leader. And it's probably just going to come down to like who scores the most touchdowns. And I don't think we can really project that number super well right now.
Yeah, it'll come down to touchdowns, and it'll come down to if somebody gets hurt. Because if Diggs gets hurt, Dell's just going to smash. Nico will be a stud again. I think the kind of like the bell curve of like CJ Stroud is a kingmaker, the sharp saying CJ Stroud's a kingmaker, the donkey saying CJ Stroud's a kingmaker, then everybody else is just saying how are these all these guys going to get all these targets? It's like, no, dude, they're just going to trade off.
There's also room there in the Houston offense for like Bobby Slowick to be a better play caller. Like you look at their first down rush rate last year, it was like your play designs are awesome, but your like situational play calling has a lot of room to grow. So like if that takes a step forward too, like there's some upside there.
Yeah, that was the one blind spot that Slowick had, is that he did call, especially with Stroud balling late in the first, second half of last season, way too many first down runs.
Yeah.
Colby in chat says Diggs in the slot's going to help the old man. Honestly, I mean, I think all three of them can play in the slot. I think Nico's by far the least likely to play out of the slot, but Diggs moving and motioning inside. And I mean, they're going to be at 11 personnel, probably more than, they're going to top 5, Slowick is from the Rams, the coaching tree. But at the same time, I mean, they just have such a diverse group of weapons. Like Chris was saying, even Diggs at this like diminished skill set is still like an 80th percentile separator. You were mentioning Tank Dell. Tank Dell might be the best separator in the NFL. Our data would make that argument. I mean, it's probably just, CJ Stroud printers go Burr again this year.
Noah Brown actually had a higher routes run per dropback than Nico and Dell last year in games they were active for.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is they can just do that. They like rotating, and now they just have 3 really good guys to do it. Speaking of 3 really good guys, we got 3 really good players coming back to us here. If we could somehow squeeze through one of these receivers, one guy who's been screaming up in ADP is Rashee Rice. I think people have finally caught on to the projections.
He dropped so hard,
dude. I loaded up, man. Loaded the hell up. All right, so we kind of got caught out at receiver again here. No way am I taking Xavier Worthy. Chris, what do you think though? We got
Hopkins. I think
Hopkins. Yeah, I got him at the top.
Fits with Kirk as well.
Yeah, I like that. A little week 17 there.
And then we've got plenty of QB stacking options at this point. Not going to have like an elite guy probably, but
I'm perfectly fine with that. And this will probably be a 3 quarterback team the way we're building right now. I
think you go receiver again, or you could do Pitts.
Yeah, I was just putting him in there. This is the other thing about taking receiver at that second pick after London, because we got one guy here who might sneak all the way back. That would have been nice. Never mind. Basically, it comes down to Rashee. I got Deontay up there too.
But they're definitely a tier break. But we could probably do Pitts. We're not going to have to take a lot of running backs and tight end. We could just load up at receiver.
Yeah. All right.
Later in the draft.
Go Pitts. Yeah, we'll double stack. I'm good with that. Get a little Pitts action.
That also helps because we just talked about this is probably a 3 quarterback build.
Yep.
So we got
getting in that elite tight end.
Yeah, it helps to keep yourself from getting boxed in.
Yeah.
Because Pitts is the last of, I guess Ingram. Did he go already?
No, I got Ingram ahead of. They're all the same tier. I have Ingram and Pitts ahead of, or Ingram and Kittle ahead of Pitts, but it's all very close.
Yeah.
Kittle doesn't project as well, but just the contingent upside with him, especially at this ADP, man. Like if Debo or Ayuk gets hurt, he's gonna smash.
I mean, it's funny you say Kittle doesn't project well. It's like even the last, if we just go like the last 2 years and look at his games with more than 15 PPR points or 15 half PPR points or more, like he leads the league. In a spike week game, like
the spiked weeks are the major aspect. He doesn't project well in the sense that like when Debo, Ayuk, and McCaffrey have all been on the field, his target share is like 16 to 18%.
Yeah,
it's just really, really hard to like force him up. I mean, you can do it on efficiency, which he's definitely known to do. I mean, he leads the league in yards per route run like almost every single year. He did it again last year. But yeah, it's just hard to get him a truly insane target share with Debo and Ayuk there.
Do you think an injury to Debo or Ayuk wouldn't be as big for him this year, though, with them drafting Pearsall?
It's definitely fair. Pearsall's mainly an inside guy, but I know Brett thinks he can be a inside outside guy. So that's a fair point. It's a fair point, but Kittle's just so damn good. There's just like, if you remove one of their top wide receivers, like the ball will funnel his way more. He just has to do so much in the offense too, just beyond being a good receiver.
I mean, I think look at what they've done with the skill position players that they've drafted in San Francisco. Like Ayuk was not this year one massive guy. Like they take time to develop them. So in my opinion, with like Ayuk coming up on his contract season, like Pearsall was their project, in my opinion. Or at least that's more within his range of outcomes than like thinking of him as the direct Ayuk replacement or the direct like Debo replacement playing inside if one of those guys gets hurt. So I think I think the field is probably overstating the effects of Pearsall in that like he probably is going to be less involved this season than the field seems to think. And I think that includes with an injury to one of those primary guys.
Yeah, they play a lot more 2 wide receiver sets just in general because Juszczyk plays so much. Shanahan's obviously master of, changing up looks for fitting different schemes and, different game plans for different defenses. But they're probably going to be bottom of the league again in 11 personnel. I don't really see a path for Pearsall unless Ayuk or Debo gets hurt. kind of like we were outlining. Man, these running back ADPs are really starting to slide here. It's getting kind of borderline crazy. Cook goes 61. Rashad White's now going into the 70s. Ken Walker's slipping a little bit too. I think that makes sense with Walker. I really think he needs an injury to Charbonnet to like really, really crush. And then, basically, this whole pocket from 80 to 95 is like stuck this whole summer. It's been great.
Yeah.
Last year, Niners were second from last in 11 personnel usage at 39%. Falcons were the only team lower at 17. So, I mean, I don't see personnel playing much.
Yeah, you might need a Kyle Juszczyk injury too.
Yeah.
the one random contingent fullback injury in the NFL that's needed for a guy.
Yeah. They did allow two of their like backup / blocking tight ends to walk this offseason too. So
yeah, just wrapping up the Kittle conversation, the one thing I do love about him is he's like just like Mark Andrews, he's like a bell cow tight end. He just doesn't come off the field. Yeah, his route shares just continue to go up the last 3 years, basically. Let's see what we want to do here. Keon, I'm not super crazy about Keon, but it is a nice little spot for him. What do you think, Chris?
He would be my next highest ranked guy. I don't love him on a non-Buffalo team, but
yeah, same.
We kind of need some swings here at receiver.
All right. Yeah, it's either him or J-Mo here, and then we just have this massive tier of green.
Yeah, who else is even left at receiver?
It's J-Mo, and then we got Josh Palmer in the way next tier.
Do you guys think you can build like functional teams, like going 4 running backs, but from this pocket? Like these are all guys that like you probably used to go in the 3-4 turn like 2 years ago, and now maybe even 2.
I think you can take 4 of these guys and stop. You could, I mean, seriously, you want to take Aaron Jones at 86 here? I mean, it's not horrible. Or we can take J-Mo, or go upside with Brooks. This is really interesting, actually.
I like Brooks less on this build.
Yeah. Jones. All right.
It's because we got 2 early bye week running backs.
Yeah. That's a good call, Mark. Really good call.
We could probably just do one more guy, right?
Yeah. 2 at most. We'll stop at 5 at absolute most.
So really,
but going back to your point, Chris, you can absolutely just take a shotgun to this range from like 75 to 110, get 4 of them, and basically be done. I've been doing that a ton, especially since the ADPs, man, they haven't really moved. If anything, they've just shifted back.
Yeah, they've been shuffling. Yeah, they've just been like shuffling between them. Yep. It's hard to break out of that.
You can get like an elite QB, an elite tight end, 3 or 4 elite wide receivers, take 4 of these running backs, and then be done. Like I don't know if we have ever really seen anything like that. It's like weird because it feels wrong, but like I think like a team with Rashad White, Kenneth Walker, Steven Ramondre, and Aaron Jones should be fine.
Yeah. When you say it feels wrong, what's like the gut feel for you that feels off? You just feel like you're chasing those dead zone backs, but like in a different ADP pocket? Is that what it is?
Yeah, just the like if somebody tells you like in previous years I took only 4 running backs and they came from rounds 7 through 11.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You're like, well, that can't be good.
Yeah, you probably
2 years ago. That's Jaylen Warren, Tony Pollard like when Zeke was still there, and Rashad Penny last year was going in like around 11 at one point. Like that used to be a horrible group.
Yeah, sadly, I was on some of the Penny stuff last year.
I was chuckling to myself over here. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, that was a good time. It was like a name I have not heard in a long time.
Yeah.
He's kicking around on the Panthers practice squad though. Hey, he might make the team. Mark, you want to run it back one more time? We could do it on DK. You got the 20 rounds. Yeah. No, you're right though. And this year we've been talking about it all off season. It's this entire tier is grouped together. They've stayed grouped together. Really, the only guy I've seen come up is Brian Robinson. I think people are finally coming to the realization that Austin Eckler probably won't have a huge role. But Chris, like we've talked about, the biggest question I have is if Eckler plays in the red zone a ton, because that would like nuke Robinson. If he's just like the early down back on a bad offense, like not getting much goal line work, and Eckler gets that stuff, like that's going to be a little rough for B-Rob.
Thank you for saying bad offense. I appreciate that.
Well, I mean, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, we all want, bullish things out of, all these rookie quarterbacks, but it's more than likely only one smashes. And it could be the Commanders. It's more likely going to be the Bears.
Yeah.
We do have, what do we have here?
Or Drake May. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Dude, Drake May might be really good. He's mobile. Like you see the Hard Knocks clips of him on the board too.
I was shitting on Drake May for a long time, and then some of the discussions that I had offline kind of opened my eyes to the fact, like, why is there this like 8-round gap between Drake May and it's my kids screaming in the background. That's awesome.
No, it's a good sign. It's a good sign.
Like Jaden Daniels and Drake May, it's like they should probably be going closer.
Yeah, Brissett's going to start week 1. He's probably going to start week 2. Then by 50, I think it's like a coin flip by week 3. It's
I don't know. I think it's going to be longer.
Really?
I really don't think they're going to roll him out there that quick. I have Brissett at 4 games. I think I might be a little light right now.
Okay. We'll pick this conversation back up. What you want to do here at 9?
Is Lawrence gone?
How do we not take Burrow?
Yeah, you want to take Burrow?
Right. Yeah. How do we not in the 10th?
I don't know. I just don't know how we. I agree the value is awesome, but I just don't know
Jermaine Burton, and then we're done. We did our job here.
Jermaine Burton.
Don't you think in week 17 or something, if Burrow is what you needed, someone's going to have Burrow plus Chase or Higgins?
100%. Burrow at just that far past ADP. I'll talk about it here in a minute.
Yeah, there's also like that. I hear what you're saying, Chris, but like, what if Burrow scores 35 in week 17 and no one else scores more than 22? We don't have Chase or Higgins, sure, but we do have the nuts quarterback. I hear what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
All right, what are we thinking here at the turn? Tajay? Nah, it's the same buy.
Cooks, I think, would be fine.
Cooks or Dubs?
Yeah, I'm in that. I'm in there.
Either one.
So picking up that Joe Burrow discussion, I think we as humans want to control more than we can reasonably control. We're like creatures of habit. We the way I put it in the article that I just wrote is we like to drive the same way to work every day. We have our spot on the couch. We don't like feeling uncomfortable. So that feeling of well, what if Joe Burrow, or how does Joe Burrow become the player that you need? We like to assert control over that situation in that well, he would be what you need if either Jamar Chase or T Higgins or one of the things that a lot of people are missing, it could be Joe Burrow with one of the running backs, or both running backs score a touchdown and T Higgins scores a touchdown and Jamar Chase scores a touchdown, and then tight end room gets into the party. Joe Burrow throws for 6 touchdowns, but no one gets more than 2. That is a potential within the potential weekly range of outcomes. Does that happen in week 17 if he's the guy that you need? No idea, but that's what kind of goes missed. And the other piece to that from a theoretical perspective is this calculation of expected value. When we're sitting here drafting, we're trying to maximize EV, we're trying to remove variance, we're trying to we're trying to control what we can control, right? Well, EV takes out variance, and it also assumes an infinite sample, which we know we don't have this season. But if we're talking strictly about EV, we also have to realize that the EV equation takes into account so many variables, and all of those variables are going to change at each decision point, which is each draft pick. So it's there's so much going on that we cannot calculate right now. We have no idea. But with all of the variance now thrown in, it's and we're sitting here in round 10 and we have Joe Burrow sliding 20 picks past ADP. closing line value versus ADP is part of the EV equation, but we still can't like visualize. We don't know because it hasn't been calculated. At what point does like closing line value contribute more to EV than team stacks or week 17 correlation or, you know, all the other things that go into EV? So it's like, it's this weird spot that we put ourselves in where we're immediately like, ew, no, that seems gross. Like, I'm not going to take Joe Burrow 20 picks past ADP in the first 10 rounds. But like, the truth of the matter is we don't really know. We don't know what is more beneficial to this roster construction from an EV perspective because there's so much stuff like going on. So like, that's the theoretical answer. Me, when I see like somebody fall that far and knowing that like closing line value versus ADP is inverse logarithmic, its importance to us in that like later picks getting closing line value, like getting a 14th rounder in the 17th rounder isn't as important as getting an 8th rounder in the 10th round, so to speak. So I don't know. It's just like, there's so much going on that like sometimes that you just, to me anyway, you take that low hanging fruit. I don't know.
No, I'm with you in the sense, I'm with you on a lot of that. I'm with you mainly though, is it's just a way to get unique too. Like there's just, this is a massive freaking tournament. There's so many variables that we don't know, like you're outlining. This is a way to get a little weird. And sure, theoretically, you're right. It's probably minus EV to not have Chase or Higgins, but like I outlined, man. I mean, what if Burrow throws 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, and no other quarterback throws more than 3?
Yeah,
and we know it plausible.
We know it to be suboptimal to not take Joe Burrow without one of those guys. But like that is a dip in EV. Can you make up for that dip in EV by doing some of these other things like taking Joe Burrow 20 picks past ADP in the 10th round? Potentially. Like we just don't know. This
is the same Joe Burrow we're projecting to currently lead the NFL in passing touchdowns, Chris. By the way, yeah, some great guy does our projections. I don't know. He does a good job with them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We'll take Lawrence here, right?
Yeah, we're going to take 3 quarterbacks anyway, most likely. So I think so.
Well, you can get away with it now, I think, with Burrow and Lawrence.
Same bye, week 12, but
oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but we can definitely figure that out. Especially with this team, we got Pitts. Yeah, we got 3 great running backs. Also getting Lawrence in a unique manner here, 13 spots past ADP.
Yeah, see this room is like anti QB, which is great.
I would love
to worked out for us. It worked out for us here in this corner because sometimes you get caught out.
Yeah,
worked out for this team too because we got 3 good backs. Downs. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
That's it here. That's the last one. It's either him or Leggett or your boy Pearsall, Mark. We're not going to do that. I've clicked his name
once. I've clicked his name
once. I think it was with me, and we were like 35 spots past ADP.
Yeah.
I do like Downs though, man. I like our projection on Colts. By the way, it's a good segue into Colts because I think we're going to be a lot lower than Adonai Mitchell than most sites. I want to ask you, Chris, like first, do you think Downs plays outside when they get into 2 wide receiver sets, or do you think it's going to be Mitchell?
It's definitely initially going to be Downs.
Okay.
Like even remember Alec Pierce played outside a decent amount for a while last year until Downs really got going. But Downs got up to over the last 5 games, he got up to 72% of the routes. So that's what most top receivers are in that 70 to 80% range. So he's not really coming off the field. Doesn't mean that Mitchell won't ever work in 2 wide receiver stuff, but I didn't take the Mitchell draft pick as a sign that they didn't like what Downs did at all.
Yeah, someone was really close. I mean, they were really close, man. And first 9 games of the season, Pittman was ahead in targets, ahead in production, but not by much. And then Downs, he had that knee injury, never was really right. He tried to play through it, and then his efficiency fell off, and his role kind of fell off. He's actually kind of like, I think, a sneaky injury buy low. Like, I think he'd be going around earlier probably if he didn't get hurt last year, just based on his bulk production. And then, if we're right and we're just, Downs plays a little more than Mitchell, especially in in 12 because I got to figure the Colts are going to be pretty heavy in 12 personnel with all the damn tight ends they have. They better be with all the tight ends
they just love it.
They
just love collecting
hoard
tight
all
ends,
these mid tight ends.
Yeah, it's like Seattle with running backs.
Yeah. Oh man, Burton's gone. Dang. We maybe should have
Yeah, I
forced
think
Burton there.
Yeah, we probably should have.
Yeah, damn.
Could take what
Take over Mike
Gesicki?
Gesicki,
Yeah.
I think the Mitchell pick was just the Alec Pierce replacement. Like Pierce still ran like 80 over. I think he got up to 89% of the routes in the last 5 games. Like I just don't think I don't think they want that anymore.
Yeah, Pierce was the cardio king last year.
Yeah.
I liked Pierce a little bit just because he was like their only big body, deep, down the field threat for Richardson to throw up to. But yeah, he's not good. Separation stuff, Chris is not good on him at all.
Yeah.
Mr. Scampers, is there any world where Steichen rewards Alec Pierce for all his running last season? Maybe he throws him like an end zone fade, give him a touchdown. Yeah, I doubt it. I'm with you, Chris. I think they just want someone who's actually athletic out there. All right, we're gonna come back 2, 3, 6, 1. Honestly, a lot of like my favorite roster construction for every draft. I want to be at like 1, 3, 6, 1 in almost every draft. 2, 3, 6, 1 with Burrow's a little funky. Yeah, Cousins just went too. Yeah.
Do we just stop at these two QBs then, or do we
take an L? Just take the L and for the buy.
We don't have
I don't like to do it at quarterback. It's tough at quarterback because it's basically 20 points.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
We'll get there. Hold on. All right. What do you guys think about dialing up a little Broncos action? Not here. We can go Demario Douglas here. Take another receiver, or we can finish out running back. But we can go Bo Nix as the last quarterback, or Will Levis.
We don't have any other. I probably like Levis the most, and I'm not a huge Douglas guy. I think he's fine, but if you really like him, we could take him.
Okay.
He's probably the best one of this tier, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's the last of this tier, really. We can force in Levis here. I'm good with that. This next pick, he's not going to go here at this corner. Just be done at quarterback. I'm not risking.
What did the Ridley team take?
Well, we can't assume rational drafting, but I can look.
Yeah, but if
he's got Allen and Kirk, so
he's probably done.
Isn't it the same buy?
Push Levis.
Isn't it the same buy? Yeah, I'm with you, Mark, with the name you said. By the way.
Yeah, it's
I'd be fine with that.
It's an interesting setup to take like 3 Falcons without Kirk. And you're kind of leveraging like Bijan. If Bijan goes down, now you're getting a leverage on another first rounder.
Yeah, there's another back I'd be okay with here too, and we could stop.
Yeah, I mean, Bijan going down could also help be a reason that London and Pitts are as good as they are too.
That's a fair point. All right, we'll go Algier here, and we're probably done. We could do a 4 running back team with Gibbs, Pacheco, Jones, and Algier. Colby says I probably have too much Levis this year. Same, dude. Yeah, me and Mark.
It's not too much.
Me and Mark have both been pounding this table, man. The projections just look so good for the Titans. Them coming from 31st and early down throw rate to like at least top 10 is just massive for them.
Yeah.
We definitely have a funky build here. That's for sure. I Mark, you're talking about getting out of comfort zones. I'm all about it. Especially in a game where we don't know anything. I go into draft just, I feel like you almost have to go into every draft humbled a little bit. Just realize that something crazy is going to happen and just open your mind to those possibilities. But you're right. Yeah, Falcons team without Cousins is really unique. We could get a little weird with Bengals too. I don't mind.
Maybe Penix is starting at the end of the year. We don't know.
yeah. There you go. You could actually, it's not the worst idea if like you take Mahomes or something. You go like Mahomes and Penix. It's not a
No, I don't
terrible
think I would
idea.
take Penix.
You're most likely
I don't
punting.
think you.
You're
Mahomes
most likely
is a week 6
punting.
bye. Yeah.
You're most likely punting.
Maybe Josh
6.
Allen or somebody with a later bye. Lamar Jackson.
I
would be amazing. Yeah,
I
the
definitely
Bills
don't
are.
think you need to have
Falcons have a
Kirk
something?
though.
Yeah, no, you don't. You don't have to. I mean, Kirk is like the consummate QB 16. You know what I mean? Like he can funnel the ball to London and Pitts, but like score 19 points, and that's just your typical Kirk Cousins. He throws for 280 and 2 touchdowns, and you just hope those are, to Pitts and London.
All right.
Chris, is there anybody in this like pocket from like 140 to like 160-ish that you've been pushing up, drafting more of as of late?
Let's see here. Let's see. No one's really jumping out to me. I'm like kind of struggling this year. I feel like there's not a lot of guys that like in these last few rounds where I'm like, oh, they're a slam pick. Like I wasn't on Puka and Kyron super early, but there did become a point, I think in August, where I was like, all right, you got to start drafting way more of these guys.
Yeah.
CEH was that other guy last year for me. Like I was drafting him a ton in the back. Yep. There doesn't feel like I don't know if we just haven't gotten that like those blurbs yet that we remember from last year, but it's just like a lot of I don't know. I'm regularly getting to like round 18 and I'm like I don't like there's not a ton of guys. Trey Sermon's a guy I do like to click. Trying to think of who else I've been clicking recently in that.
Yeah, I pushed Trey Sermon way up in the last Best Ball update.
Yeah, he should be going way higher as a handcuff.
Yeah, it seems like they're going to actually try to give him the job first. Evan Hull's a 5th round rookie who's coming off major knee injury. Sermon's never done much, but it's not
at receiver. I kind of like A.T. Perry, but I'm not like obsessed with him. This is actually one I do like. If you're doing a 3 tight end build, I really actually like Theo Johnson, the rookie for the Giants. Like there's talk of Daniel Bellinger like not even making the team, and like Theo Johnson may not even be. He's not even drafted all the time. I see him drafted here and there when I don't take him, but like he's going to be a super lone guy and maybe the starting tight end.
Chris, where do you have? How did what was it? How did Darren Waller's retirement affect your Wan'Dale projection?
I was pretty confident that Waller wasn't going to be playing for them, so I started assuming he was not going to be on the team. Let me see. Yeah. But for Wan'Dale, I do.
You guys want to take a 5th running back, Ray Davis here, or do you want to go Mims?
I'd rather take Mims.
Yeah, this guy's got 3 quarterbacks. We're gonna pray to God he does not take a 4th with Levis.
Yeah, and take Levis.
Now, I said earlier we can't project rational drafting.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is the test right here.
Our ADP value on our QBs is about to be sick. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's sick. And I have an idea for Bengals. Get a little weird in the last round.
Let's go.
Thank you very much, sir or ma'am.
But yeah, I've got Wan'Dale about at a 70% route share, which he was a little above that to close out the season, but more than the 65%. All if you look at the full season. His target share actually have coming down a bit. Like when you drop Neighbors into this offense, and like he's going to eat up so much of the volume that I think Waller coming out doesn't do a whole lot for Wan'Dale. I just think they're going to scheme up Neighbors the same way that they would have done Waller, like those shorter ADOT targets. But Wan'Dale is still he does have the 2nd highest target share on the team for me.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same, that like we didn't see any movement in Wan'Dale's like ADP after Darren Waller. It was like, yes, we assumed that Darren Waller wasn't coming back, but like after he was like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna go make music. We're all just like, nothing happened. And he makes that kind of like, Wan'Dale's a guy that like can run similar routes to a towering tight end in that he creates mismatches with the defenders that are going to be covering that position. So like from dime, he's going to mismatch against like the slot corner. He's going to mismatch against safeties. He's going to mismatch against linebackers on crossers. So because he can like do so much in that first 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. So I don't know. He's like a guy that I was just kind of like, yeah, he's on the Giants. He's like the gap between Neighbors and Wandale, like from primary to secondary option in the offense is so massive. I was just like wondering how you saw that.
Is like his best case scenario is probably like Isaiah McKenzie's best season with the Bills. Like that's pretty much the role he's playing. He's probably a better version of it. So like, yeah, maybe there's a little bit more ceiling there, but like Marvin Mims could be like a huge value. Michael Wilson, same thing. Malachi Corey, same thing. Like I just don't think the world where Wandale is the 16th round pick everyone wish they take is just I think like smaller than these other guys here.
Yeah,
especially in half where TDs matter a little more. You know,
an 8 out of 5.3. Like that's
it's better than Rashee Rice.
Yeah. I'm hopeful that Rice gets downfield looks now that they have actually boundary receivers to get open. But that's another conversation for another day. So we need another tight end. I want to bring this up here before we get back.
Lay it on us, man.
It's dead. So the thing is, we need another tight end. Pitts has the week 12 bye. And Thomas, I swear, don't take me off air for saying this. Gesicki makes sense. However, they have the same bye. Do we want to go 3-4-8-3? We could.
I think it's feasible.
Yeah, what is it? 17? How many receivers do we have?
8. This is a funky little team.
It is very. This got unhinged
a little bit. Yeah, we got to talk this through because I mean we can take.
So from
your boy Theo too.
From an advancement rate perspective, the pick at tight end here is probably Colby Parkinson.
Yeah.
Like he does very little else to the team. But again, that's the discussion of like, we don't really know what that equation is.
Yeah, I was thinking him or Jelani, who just went. I didn't want to mention him, but yeah. That's him or Theo. We could take your boy Theo with Gesicki.
I mean, Pitts is a pretty big like upside swing at tight end as it is. Like
we definitely do not have to take 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends. I mean, we don't have to take anybody with Burrow, but
I do hate the Gesicki pick. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Drew Sample or either of the rookie tight ends are more involved. But I also do hate having an unstacked Burrow, so it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's the worst of worst worlds, I guess. All right, we'll take Parkinson here, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's the right move.
Yeah. I do like Parkinson.
Like I feel like our path to winning is we want Burrow to go off, but only in weeks 15 and 16, and then in week 17,
we need one of
the Titans and Jags shootout.
Yeah.
Do we take like a flyer on Andre Yoshivas or Keaton Irwin?
Well, that was my last Galaxy Brain idea for Bengals. If we didn't want to take 3 tight ends, is that we take Yoshivas.
Yeah.
And take 9 wide receivers. I don't hate it.
Because Yoshivas gives you 2 outs, right? He theoretically gives you Jamar Chase or T. Higgins going down.
He would.
Yeah. It's thin, but there's.
I don't know who is going to play. We don't really know who's going to play in the slot. It'll probably be a lot of Chase actually.
Yeah.
And then if Chase were to go down, I'm not really sure what would happen. So like maybe that's how Yoshivas is what you need.
Small sample stuff too, but he looked pretty good in our separation stuff as well.
Yeah.
He wasn't bad, honestly. All right, we'll do that and get really freaking weird. 3-4-9-2. With back end Yoshivas Bengals stack. This will be a very unique team. At the very least, we have a unique team. Chris, great stuff, man. We got training camp around the corner. I love this time of year. Real news is going to be coming out. We'll finally have some ADP shifting. Chris, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man. Good draft.
Yeah, no problem. It's fun.
Yeah. Great stuff, man. We will be back next week on Thursday. Thomas is very, very excited that we didn't take Thomas in private chat. He says, death, taxes, and Graham trying to shoehorn in a Bengals tight end. Yeah. Yeah, we tried to do that with Irv Smith last year. It went about as well as the Kadarius Toney last round stuff from last year, Justin Ross last round stuff from last year. You had to have Puka or Kyron last round, period, last year. We're going to try to make $1 million with this team. And if we don't, we'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboard.
What?
Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.